As professionals with a deep understanding of our ocean environment, Maine fishermen have a specialized knowledge, experience, and perspective that should be fully understood before planning any offshore wind development. Undue haste will not foster this collaboration with fishermen and ultimately will result in an unreliable and untrustworthy basis for future planning efforts.
The Maine Coast Fishermen's Association is extremely concerned about what our future will look like if we start to transition the Gulf of Maine from being a place where we catch food and turn it into a place where we produce energy. And we need clean energy. We desperately need clean energy. But we believe firmly at the Maine Coast Fishermen's Association that there are better solutions on the table for how we achieve those desired results of keeping our way of life sustainable, both in terms of the fishing industry and solving our climate solutions.
I think we all understand we need to make changes in how we use, consume, or produce energy. But I think those changes need to be well-founded in what they're doing. You shouldn't have to displace another industry to better what we're doing with our environment.
It's scary to me how much some of the impacts of development in the Gulf of Maine are being underestimated.
Please listen to the stakeholders or the people that are going to be impacted by the decision making. Listen to them. Don't go in with deaf ears. They have a lot to say and they have a lot of years of knowledge to say it.
I agree with global warming, climate change. I do believe it's happening. I've seen a difference, being out on the water. And I think, yes, clean energy is definitely a necessity. But I think we need to approach it in the right way, where it has the least amount of impact with what we already have in place. The scale of these things blows me away. What is the carbon footprint to actually build these and get them in place? The ships it'll take to do it and all that, and machineries to build it. Is this really green? Is this really the right direction we should be going for renewable energy?
I think most lobstermen understand the need to protect what we have. We understand the issues with climate change. We understand the risk that puts us in. But industrializing the Gulf of Maine with wind turbines is not the way forward. Preserving what we have and continuing to take care of it the way we have is the way forward.
Without dedicated research and a firm plan in place, we are skeptical that offshore wind can deliver on its promise of affordable, clean energy as promised by global energy companies. We will continue to engage in conversations and demand accountability through the use of sound science, adequate planning timelines, and through thorough economic, environmental, and cost-benefit analysis of proposed projects.
There's no one that cares more about our marine resources than the fishermen. And it's not just because it's part of who they are. It's not just about it being a part of their business. It's really this way of life and connection that they have to the marine resources and the fish and the lobsters and the scallops that they catch. And over time, the fishermen have really learned that you need to take care of those marine resources. You need to be the stewards of those opportunities if you want your kids and your kids' kids to take advantage of that.
One of the realities of fishermen is we spend thousands of hours, out in the areas that we're talking about at this point. So, I'm 49 years old, and on my own boats, I've logged a little over 28,000 hours at sea. So we're aware of the cycles that are happening in the outdoors. We see the birds migrating every year. We see what the wildlife's doing, that type of thing. We see the whales, everything coming by at this point. So, we're privileged to be in that situation, where we get to witness everything that happens at that level. But it's just, for offshore wind and that type of activity to be happening in that space just feels like it's an alien thing.
I'm part of one of the oldest industries in North America. The first commercial industry in North America was the commercial fishing industry. That has continued, and the fishermen that work the Gulf of Maine have shared the Gulf of Maine with every other use since that day. The other users don't share as well. When they come in, they want to displace the fishermen frequently. And I see this as another example of that.
I don't share the governor's vision on the floating windmills they're trying to put in the Gulf of Maine, no. I do share the governor's vision as far as renewable energy overall. I do agree with that. But the floating platforms they're trying to put in the Gulf of Maine, this is not the right direction.
How can you say that you want to protect the Gulf of Maine, but yet you want to industrialize it with windmills? And you want to protect all these species, but yet you want to industrialize the Gulf of Maine? It doesn't make sense to us, because we know what them chain links are going to do. And we know as fishermen what windmills are going to do to the Gulf of Maine. They might want to gamble on it, but we don't.
It's not just about the businesses, it's not just about the jobs, it's about the next generation. And we are all working to be the stewards of a way of life as well as the marine resources.
And it's important, especially in conversations pertaining to offshore development in the Gulf of Maine, that we elevate the role of fishermen as human beings, as harvesters in the food systems, and as people with deep experience and knowledge about the ocean. And when we don't have people watching the ocean and its changes, I think that that's going to be more harmful to our future than anything else.
Fishermen are going to do everything in its power to protect the Gulf of Maine. We owe the Gulf of Maine to protect it. It's our duty to protect it. And that's what we're trying to get across. If we thought this was good for the Gulf of Maine, we'd be all on board. But we know it. We know it here, and we feel it here.
Maine's fishing community does not support offshore wind development implemented through a rushed planning process and using uncertain technology. We believe that there are better ways to achieve Maine's clean energy future, and the fishing community is excited to engage in those conversations. We ask that you stand with Maine's fishermen and protect the Gulf of Maine.